On June 17th of 2025, almost a year ago, Andy Zhang and Alex Clark were fired from Linus Tech Tips to pursue their new channels, Zip-Tie Tuning and Zip-Tie Tech. Alex was a writer, hardware tester, and an on-camera host who had been with them for 8 years. Andy was a cameraman working with lighting, visual storytelling, and production workflows, having been there a little less than Alex. Why'd they get fired? Pretty simple. They go over it in a video that I've linked in the description with more details. But to summarize, they started a channel, Zip-Tie Tuning, a channel where they reviewed cars which violated their non-compete with LTT, who fired them, but in a good way. They were given a very healthy severance and learned almost everything there is to know about YouTube production. It was pretty much a no-brainer for them. Time to become YouTubers. And become YouTubers they did, easily getting an average view count of 500,000 on the main channel and 200,000 on the second. But how? The hardest part of YouTube is always the channel idea. What type of content do you want to make? Is there an audience for it? Is it sustainable? There are so many questions that you simply cannot answer without just going for it. Which is exactly what Alex and Andy did. They went for it. Zip-Tie Tuning was created on May 31st of 2025 with the first video posted the day after. They created it due to their absolute love of cars, filming, analyzing, and of course, driving. It blew up immediately. 200,000 views within a week. Then they posted 3 days later, 300,000 also within a week. Then another post. And within a week of posting, 180k, still extremely respectable. Then they got fired, which honestly makes sense. They violated a non-compete and did it in a very public fashion, by posting their faces on it. By then, they had almost 1 million views across only 3 videos. Those 3 videos, if all monetized, which they weren't due to delay, would have made over $5,000, not including sponsors, which I think they probably weren't allowed to get yet. We'll get back to that later. Anyways, that $5,000 in 2 weeks was almost more than their yearly salaries. Combined, probably. So it makes sense they took the leap, which was to continue the channel, and start a new one. So they had an idea down. But how did they get those views? Well, unfortunately for you, it's quite simple and not easily replicable. They've been working on LTT for almost a decade, learning in the background every step of what works, every step of what doesn't. I simply cannot explain in one video what they learned over 8 years of content. Oh, and they're already famous, remember? Andy's cameos often made viewers laugh, and Alex had been on the camera of LTT for years now, being adored by hardcore fans. If you're famous, it's not hard to get views even with bad content, which they don't have. Take Cristiano Ronaldo for example. The team that works on the Ronaldo channel isn't really that great, no offense to them. But honestly, they don't need to be. He's Ronaldo. Everybody knows who he is. But even then, his views are lacking for who he is, barely getting 1 million views a video recently. But anyways, we're here to talk about ZTT, not Ronaldo. Their first video was honestly really simple, yet good. The thumbnail was definitely lacking, but it was raw and simple in a way that old LTT used to be, which viewers probably noticed. Alex utilizes his time as being an on-screen host to hook, and Andy uses cinematography and editing to keep the viewers engaged. The intro is, again, simple but good, their style. It's a bit of humor, then a bit of off factor, and the idea behind the video itself is, again, simple but good. They explain why you need an aftermarket intake. And with their connections and knowledge, they had little to no competitors in the less expensive, decently high production car niche. Sure, you got Whistle and Diesel, but he spends a hell of a lot more than they do. But in order to spend more, you need to make more. And they knew it. YouTube AdSense is never a thing you want to rely on. It's fluctuative, it can be taken at any time, and most of the time you're spending a decent chunk like they do, it's simply not enough. But again, they come from LTT, who has AdSense, Floatplane, kind of like Patreon, sponsors, affiliate links, sponsored videos, and of course their own products. AdSense, in fact, is only around 10% of LTT's revenue, and I've attached their breakdown video in the description. But anyways, back to ZTT. They have 4 main sources of revenue: AdSense, Patreon, sponsored videos, sponsors, and affiliate links. Now, how do you optimize AdSense revenue? It's pretty obvious. They try to appeal to an older audience, which cars in general already do. However, they also make their videos longer, which leads to more ads, more watch time, and of course, more money per view. But realistically, that's all they can do for AdSense. But again, AdSense is not their only form of income. They also have a Patreon with around 5,000 members. I have no idea how many are paid, so I can't give a good estimate, but it's a solid chunk with almost 5,000 members. Now, sponsored videos, sponsors, and affiliate links are in general for all kinds of car parts, cars, and other tech-related things. I assume they have a lot of leverage and connections from LTT to get easy sponsors, but if you're getting those types of views with that kind of engagement, you'll certainly get inbound offers. You yourself can meet a lot of connections with other YouTubers when you join the network, my public Discord YouTube server, link in bio. But what specifically did they do so well to get those views and engagement? And how can you do the same? Well, again, they come from a background of content. What they do extremely well is their cinematography, writing, and hosting because of course that's where they come from. Their videos are easy to keep up with and are backed up by interesting ideas. Their main advantage, however, is how they stand to be normal educated people from a normal perspective. They're just another person just trying cars out and documenting it. They explain it in a way that you can understand and it feels like it's just a conversation. What can you stand to learn from them? Some key things do stand out. Make content that you can see yourself doing 5 years down the line. They started this channel and went all in simply because they could see themselves doing so for a long time. Make interesting ideas that can appeal to a large audience. They make content that can appeal to many audiences and can be understood by everyone. You don't have to be a hardcore car nerd to understand everything they say. However, you can be a hardcore car nerd and understand everything they say. Just be yourself. They have this love of cars and making content, and they brought it into the content itself. They're just normal guys that make videos about cars and parts they find cool. I think pursuing your passion is honestly unmatched in business, which is why I built New Studio. It's a YouTube Chrome extension which gives you much more control over your studio and YouTube alike, link in the description. Now that we've went over what they do well, what should they improve? Their biggest thing is their packaging. It's very unclean and doesn't entice as much as it could. They use colored outlines often, which would have been good 10 years ago, but not anymore unfortunately. For example, their latest video, Least versus Most Expensive Toyota Sports Car. It has a decent title, it tells a story. Other titles could include adding testing the or racing the at the beginning, or doing a full 180 and doing which Toyota sports car is better, or is this Toyota sports car worth an extra 100k. For the thumbnail itself, it's decent enough to tell the story, but the color red on the text is misleading. If something is more, it should be green. Otherwise, it should point at the other car and have a negative sign. In that case though, I'd make it a thumbs down and be frowning. There's also no need to add the extra zeros, it could simply be plus or minus 100k. It's minimal, but viewers are used to green meaning more and red meaning less. Doing more work on the thumbnail to remove the shadows, changing saturation, adding blur, and cleaning it up as well could be decent, but no major qualms with that. Another thumbnail idea would be putting the two cars next to each other with the cheaper car pulling ahead of the more expensive one with the minus 100k on it. Possibly Alex in the driver's seat as well. I sketched this with GPT, and yes, it looks like shit because yes, I suck at prompting. Anyways, sorry for my super thorough rant. Packaging is just such a tool. It can get you millions of views or it can get you none. The last thing I'd recommend they do is, like LTT, produce accessories/car parts in the future. Collaborations with car companies, because in order to do it themselves, it would cost so much money that I don't think they should be spending this early. Now, sometimes getting fired is a bad thing, apparently, sometimes not. Alex and Andy, if you see this, good job boys. Can't wait to see you doing a million a video.